Good day everyone, especially to our dear instructor, Miss Janet Wariza. Good day, ma'am. So I am the first discussant for Unit 3. So my topic is what is philosophy and definition and nature, and also the philosophy and education, and also the philosophical foundations of education, which is the Western philosophies. It includes the idealism, realism, and the pragmatism or the experimentalism. So the philosophy of education. So the definition and nature of philosophy. So philosophy literally means love of wisdom. So it is an attempt to arrive at a rational concept of the reality as a whole. So it inquires into the nature of the universe in which we live, the nature of the human soul and its destiny, and the nature of the God or the absolute and their relation to one another. So your philosophy of education is your concept of the learner. So concept of what must be taught and how this must be taught. So next is the philosophy and education. So philosophy is the study of the fundamental nature of knowledge, reality, and existence, especially when considered as an academic discipline. So next is the philosophy and education. So philosophy is the study of the fundamental nature of knowledge, reality, and existence, especially when considered as an academic discipline. So when we talk about philosophy of education, so we are talking about the personal beliefs about the learner. So what is your view? So ano daw ang paningin natin sa mga estudyante? Slow learner sila or fast learner, and also we should know how do they learn best. So we should know how they do learn best, so that makater nato ang ilang needs, if how they, kung ano mas prefer nila na kuan maka-learn sila. Next is what to teach. So what knowledge or values are important to students to learn best. So as a teacher, so di ba, we should know kung ano ato mga itudlo sa ila, so that mas maka-learn ang mga bata. And also you should search or maghanap ng mga activities na para maka-learn sila, and also makakuha sila, maka-gain sila ng knowledge and values. Next is how to teach. What is the best way to teach them? So as a teacher, so we should be flexible enough so that we can teach our children in a best way, and we can cater their diversity or their diverse learning styles. So philosophy means love of wisdom. So it is study of a big question. So diba, we all know that it's about life, reality, and existence. Like how did that things happen? So it's a big question, diba? So it help us understand the world we live in. So diba, by this philosophy, so we understand things like we want to know, and also it is big question for us of how our human soul and our purpose and the idea of God, diba? So it is a big question for us. So that's why we have philosophy, because we are having our instinct. So next is the education. So education is the process of receiving or giving systematic instruction, especially at a school or university. Education is defined as the process of gaining knowledge. An example of education is attending college and studying. So it is the process of facilitating learning or the acquisition of knowledge, skills, values, beliefs, and habits. So education methods include teaching, training, storytelling, discussion, and direct research. So education can happen in many ways, such as in teaching. So diba, when we are teaching or we are in the class, so we are gaining knowledge, diba? So by this we are educating or educated, and also in training. So di ba, if we are in training, so we gain new knowledge, for example in sports. So di ba, if we don't know that specific sports, we should practice, or we should train ourselves so that we can gain knowledge on how we do that sports, like we know how step by step doing that sports. And storytelling also. So, di ba, in early childhood education, so the kindergarten students will learn in storytelling, because in storytelling is we should for example, as a teacher, so we should integrate new words, or we should expand the vocabulary of children, so that mas makagain sila ng new knowledge. And also, di ba, in storytelling is we are asking open-ended questions. So by that, by questioning children, so they can use their critical thinking skills that help them, and also we help them develop their critical thinking. So in discussion also, so in discussion we learn, so in many ways, diba? For example, a kindergarten teacher discussing to the students on how the plants grow, diba? So by discussing how plants grow, so the students can observe of how the plants grow. So, and also discussing about what is the parts of the plants, di ba? So by that, mas makalearn ang mga students, and we can gain knowledge. And the last one is in research. So in research, we can gain knowledge by seeking for answers for a question, di ba? So that's why we are having our research, so that we can gain new knowledge, or to be educated. But we also learn in our own experiences, diba? And also the other things around us. So we can learn in everywhere. We learn everywhere and around us. And my second subtopic is the philosophical foundation of education. So first is number one is Western philosophies. So generally, a Western philosophy of education comprises those two schools, which are traditional and modern. So let's discuss first the two comprises schools. So first is the traditional. So di ba, we all know that traditional is a knowledge and values that don't change, di ba? So for example, our in the far-flung area, di ba? So their way of teaching is still in traditional. For example, the paper and pencil lang talaga sila. So in far-flung areas is they don't use any gadgets pa, di ba? So kasi nga nasa malayo sila, at saka mahirap lang sila. Mas focus talaga sila na teacher lang talaga nila ang nag-lead, and also hindi sila hands-on activities, di ba? While the modern is a learning that adapts to the student and society. Tulad sa modern na in modern, so we are accepting or adapting new technologies, diba? So diba, in traditional is and focus on writing, and also in traditional teaching. But now in modern, so we are integrating such hands-on activities, gadgets, like the teacher are teaching using projectors or TV. Pero yung traditional is more on traditional lang talaga, like writing on the boards and teacher led lang. But now sometimes it's teachers and learner-centered na, diba? So the students is discovering, or they are manipulating things, like sila lang yung di-discover ng kanila or mag-learn. So nowadays is mga bata is mag-play sila, 'di ba? So by playing, so ang mga students is maka-learn. And also in traditional is focus lang talaga sila in academic. But now, dati talaga is yung mga teacher dati, 'di ba, mga stricta. But now, stricta pa man din, pero hindi na talaga yung tulad ng dati na magpapalo or gagawa sila ng bad actions na which is now hindi na pwede dahil meron na tayong CPP or Child Protection Policy. Like now that today is a modern era, so we are accepting or adapting new strategies like now the teachers nowadays is using technologies na talaga. They are teaching by projector, diba? So we are making PowerPoint presentation, not just like sa una dati yung traditional is ang mga teacher is nagsusulat lang sa blackboard or di kaya sa Manila paper, di ba? Pero ngayon in a modern world, so for example in kindergarten school, di ba? So hindi na talaga nagfo-focus on more writing, di ba? So ano na talaga ngayon, mga hands-on activities, and also included na yung mga gadgets because of the modern world. Let's proceed to the idealism. So idealism, the aim of education is to discover and develop each individual's abilities and full moral excellence in order to better serve society. The curricular emphasis is subject matter of mind, literature, history, philosophy, and religion. Here in idealism, so education should help each person to discover and develop their full potential. So especially when moral and intellectual abilities of each person. The purpose of idealism is to create individuals who can serve society with wisdom and good character. Idealism believes that education should shape both mind and character of a person to make society better. So next is the realism, which proposed by Aristotle and St. Thomas. So realism is the belief that we should study logic, critical thinking, and the scientific method to teach students to perceive and understand reality. Realists believe that the job of schools is to teach students about the world around them. Probably had the greatest impact on educational philosophy because it is the foundation of scientific reasoning. Realist educators encourage students to draw their observation and conclusion from the world around them, rather than conforming themselves to an analysis of their ideas. It is actual, so the world we perceive is to be true. So everything that we can see is true, and everything that passes through our senses is true. So lahat ng nakikita natin is totoo, or lahat ng nangyayari ay totoo. So ang pinaka-distinct feature of realism is to see is to believe. Reality, according to the realist, is independent of the human mind. So even if you do not think of it, even if you don't have idea about it, but as long as you seen it, as long as you witness it, so according to realist, that ito yung totoo. Kung ano yung mga nakikita mo or na witness mo, is yun yung totoo. So the last is the pragmatism or experimentalism. So it is proposed by John Dewey and Charles Peirce, from the Greek word to do or to make. So pragmatism or experimentalism is an educational philosophy that says that education should be about life and growth. Two important elements of pragmatism include practical learning, which focuses on the real world application of lesson and experiential learning, which involves learning through experience, not through simple idea. Pragmatism believes that what is experienced in real life and what is useful in real life is the reality. And that's why pragmatism believes in the functionality and practicality of everything. What is functional, what is practical, these are the things that are to be learned by the students in school. Why pragmatists would claim that thought must produce action. Kaya diba, thoughts are useless without actions, and if this thought is not applied. And also, actions are more important than thoughts, diba? Pragmatism is the idea that education should be about real life and personal growth. Pragmatism and experimentalism teaches that students should learn best by doing things, diba? So not just listening or memorizing. So diba, we connect this in early childhood classroom. So diba, if ang bata is doing things like playing, diba? So if they hold tangible things, so diba mas maka-learn sila, not just in listening but also in hands-on activities like how they manipulate things. Next is the experiencing the world. So, learn through real life activities and solving real problems. So, diba, in early childhood classroom, so we should we should teach students in real life activities or situation, diba, so that they can develop their knowledge about the real life. For example, in classroom, so we are integrating the dramatic plays, diba? So they should acquire knowledge or maka-learn sila through, for example, in kitchen. So by that, diba, magkuan sila, mag cooking, and also they portraying someone or some profession like police, teachers, diba? So by that, maka-learn ang mga students na kuan about real life. And also by this, for example sa classroom, so mag-away sila or magkuan, ayaw may conflict. So diba, maka-solve sila ng mga real problems because of the ilang mga yahimo sa role play. So sila ng sharing, helping to others, and by this experience. Pragmatism says we learn best by experience and by doing things that help us grow and live better lives. So dito sa pragmatism is papasok din dito ang saying ni John Dewey na learning by doing. Ends of my discussion. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.